of the players in training this week after the weekend's win?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's been a spring in the step and a change of mentality this week again, in terms of them understanding what we're after. And like I said to you guys before, it was about coming in and being bright, even when we, had a couple of defeats. I was still really keen on the players showing a brightness in training. So yeah, the wins definitely help, but I think slowly but surely we're improving in training, and you're seeing that in the game. So I did say it was about performances. I felt that the performances are really important. If you get them, you've got a really good chance of winning, and I think we've seen that now.
And off the back of a win, does that enable you to ask for more in training?
Oh, definitely, yeah. You can always do more. That's the key, I think. Especially when the grounds get heavy now. We might do a little bit less, which leave it in the players' legs, so to speak, and then it's up to them to do the extra bit. But already this week and last week actually, when I finished the main sessions, the boys have been staying out, and on a couple of occasions I had to drag them in. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm after, and that ownership around the place.
And you talk of a different style that's been needed because of the players that you've brought in. I mean, how hard is that to sort of work on and develop that, or is it all part of the evolution?
Yeah, I've had to look at all of the players, and I think everybody's had a really good chance now. And we've looked at different shapes and what we've got, and also players coming in. So we've played lots of different shapes. The shape might change again on Saturday, and during the game, I think the Oxford game was one where they caught us out by playing a 5. We built everything around them playing a 4, and they changed, and the players showed that they can adapt and be versatile, and we're going to need that between now and the end of the season. So it's been interesting, and we're still learning. We are still learning about the players. They're showing us different stuff all the time.
And that ability to adapt and react within games, I mean, obviously that's when it's at its most crucial. Does that have to come from you, or does that have to come from the players?
Well, we've spoken about this, and we have a plan B and sometimes a plan C for a game, and we'll work on different stuff in training. But it's important that our senior players, especially the midfield players, someone like Richards, when we shout on a command to change, that they do it quickly and at the right time in terms of where the ball is. But they definitely need to take leadership, and that's one of the things I've asked from the players. We need leaders. It's been a bit too quiet for my liking, but I think when things are not going so well, players tend to try and look after their own game, and I'm hoping now, after some positive performances, that the players will start to express themselves vocally and help each other on the pitch.
Looking ahead to this weekend, how do you minimise the impact of the trip so that it is just about the game?
Well, the preparation is important, so we'll change the preparation. We'll leave early in the morning. We'll travel no further than 2 hours. About 2 hours on the coach before we get off and train. So we'll get off and train en route, and then we'll make our way out. But we'll be prepared. I think the biggest thing has been the preparation has been good. The players have bought into what we're trying to do, and it's had its rewards. We've not seen it in terms of points every week, but we've certainly seen the performances improve, and there's still a long way to go in terms of, we need a clean sheet. We've got to look for a clean sheet and look to score as many goals as possible.
And this presumably is the sort of trip that actually, if you get a good result here, then this can be absolutely massive, because that journey home would be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I've done enough journeys back to the West Country to know if you win, it's a brilliant ride back, and if you don't, it's not so good. But at the same time, we are still developing as a group. We're still pretty new to each other. And I know the players will give everything. I think the one thing I know now from this group we've got now, they'll give me everything, and Rob everything, and the club everything. And if we do that, we've got a good chance.
Hartlepool obviously not what they'd want to be, so I mean they'll be fighting for their lives as well, won't they?
Yep, everyone's fighting for different causes at this stage of the season. The league is still wide open, so there's two ways of looking at it. You can look up or down. We're certainly looking up. I can't speak for them, but we've just got to focus on ourselves, focus on another good performance, and keep building those performances, and hopefully the good results will keep coming.
Any more progress on trying to bring in targets for the transfer window?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, obviously we're up to 4 loans, so it only leaves one more really. So we've got to be careful. It's got to be the right one. been on the phone quite a bit the last couple of days, but it's got to be the right person, and it's got to be the right player in that order. So that the person is very important. I've spoken with a few players, spoken with a few agents and a few managers.
Is there any scope to get someone in permanently, perhaps?
Maybe, yeah. I think this is a time where players maybe are paid up, or some of their contract is paid, and there will be some free agents. So that would be helpful. I think it would be more beneficial for us to sign a permanent, because then it still leaves one left to bring in if we needed it. But every week now and every game that goes by, the players will show me whether we need to add or whether we're okay as we are. So I'm pretty pleased with how we've been going, and I'll be looking for more improvements this weekend.
And presumably there is a long time to go in the transfer window, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, yeah. So I don't want to be rushing in. But at the same time, there's been a couple of names that I really like, and that I feel will balance the squad out, you know. But obviously I'd rather keep that to myself.
Injuries? How's Matty Taylor?
It's a really positive that we've got a win without the likes of, you know, our captain on the team, and Steve as well being out. You know, we've got some pretty big leaders in the treatment room. Wezzo, but Wezzo's doing a great job, and he's trying to get them back as quickly as possible. They've been out, you know, doing various bits. I've seen them, I've spoke to them, and I'm hopeful they'll be back very soon.
Is it just the three that Wezzo's having to look after then that are sort of ruled out or a date for this weekend?
Yeah, nothing's really changed in terms of injuries. But I'm hopeful to get them back. You know, it'd be great to get them back in some capacity. You know, even if it was to get them back onto the bench to support us. You know, especially as you saw in the Oxford game near the end where I put Demon on. You know, teams near the end will bang balls into the box, and it's important that we've got enough height in the team to deal with that. And certainly people like, you know, Steve and Matt would add massive value to us right now.
Thanks, Paul. Good luck.
Cheers. Thank you.
Paul, have you spoken about the sort of mentality that you need to go to a team that's bottom of the league and sort of three wins all season? Is it more of a almost must not lose game than a must win game?
No. It's we've not spoken about that. The sole focus is on us and what we've been doing, not coming away from that, not coming away from win, lose or draw, same mentality, and to push on now to make sure that our standards are high in training between now and Saturday, and then Saturday that we're ready. That's the key to it, and you know, to try and go on a bit of a run ourselves now. You know, it's been a long time since we won a league game. We broke that at Oxford. We had to really work hard to get that win. It's a difficult place to go. But the players show great character to come from behind, and like I said, I'm looking for more improvements this weekend.
Another week on the training ground with the three lads from Liverpool. Do you think they'll produce even better this weekend? I mean, it was a pretty good start from them on Saturday anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's like anything, you know, the team, individuals. If you score and you play well, which they did, and Lloyd played very well as well, and you know, all of the players that started and the boys that come on did very, very well. And that breeds confidence, and you know, they'll be looking to kick on, push on with all the other boys, and certainly knowing Alex like I do, we'll be wanting them to kick on. I'm sure Al's spoken to them this week, you know, because it's about standards. It doesn't matter where you are, where you're playing, it's about keeping your standards high.
There is the option to extend it beyond this month with all three of them if you, Liverpool and the players are willing.
Yeah, we've not spoken about that yet. I think they've had one game for us. Let them settle in. They've settled in really well. You know, 3 players coming in from one club I think it's pretty unique, and but they've got on really well with the boys. And I think this is the value in the value in bringing the right type of player in. The Liverpool boys have stepped in to League 2 football like a duck to water, and they're great lads to have around, and they get on really well with our boys, and our boys like them. And that's really important, you know. It's important that it's a good fit for our players that are here permanently, and it's been an excellent fit. And long may it continue. I hope we can keep them for a lot longer than this month. Of course, I do.
You've obviously mentioned players coming in. There's lots of talk with agents and managers and so on. What about players going out? Is there any movement at all with that?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. I think you know, people like Byron at the moment. I've got to look at the the books as well financially here. You know, it's one of the big parts of the job. You know, Cheltenham needs to run in a certain way. We can only afford, you know, a certain value on a player. I think I have to look at that as well, and we have had some interest this week in our players, in a couple of our players, which is always nice. I think it proves you're doing something right. And I'll be looking at that this week and going and into next week. And if it's right for the club financially and it's right for us, then something might happen.
You talk about finances. Does that mean you've been maybe knocked back with a couple trying to bring in with too much money?
Yeah, I think I knew the job when I came in. The chairman was very clear with regards to the budget that had been spent, and that, you know, I hate the phrase "get players out, get players in," but ultimately look at the squad, look at how I want to play, look at the system that I want to play, and then, you know, try and do it the best way I can to ease the finances, and you know, anything I do create I can then add to the squad, because the squad did need freshening up, there's no doubt about it. You know, the predicament we was in, and I've got to look to keep improving things.
Excellent. Thanks, Paul.